Welcome to Season 4 of the Powered by Rock podcast. We'll bring you the best stories in rock music with a focus on highlighting independent rock musicians and their music from all over the world. No, rock music isn't dead. It's getting better and better. It's just time for you to start paying attention again. With that said, let's get this party started.
The mountain's gonna rise and fall by me.
Hello and welcome to the Powered by Rock podcast. We're going to be speaking with Dave Cavallo. Is it Cavallo or Cavallo?
Cavallo.
All right. Well, see, I'm married to a Hispanic woman, and so it would be Cavallo in Espanol. So Dave Cavallo of the Texas-based pop punk band Dropout today. Dropout released one of the most incredible punk albums that I'd heard in a very long time last year with their album Get Lost, which is what I consider to be the epitome of pop punk at its finest. The band has been putting out music for almost a decade at this point, I think like 8 years or so. And if you haven't heard of them, well, it's a good thing you're here now because you're going to be happy that you get to check them out. I believe Get Lost was one of my only 2 perfect 5-star ratings that I gave out to any album last year with the Black Keys Dropout Boogie. So actually funny, it's like dropped out and Dropout Boogie. Maybe there's a theme there. I don't know. Being the only other one. And that's pretty high praise considering the last year was stacked with great releases. So, hey, Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's
great.
It's great to finally meet you because we've been talking, social media and email and stuff like that and been chatting back and forth, but I've never actually got to speak to you live or in a conversation setting. So this will be interesting. And in such, this new season, I've kind of changed the format of our interview structure here. And I want people to understand. I'm actually going to zoom in here so we can get a little bit closer to our faces. But I want people to understand that, there's some really good stories around rock bands out there and rock musicians in general that you don't get from, mainstream media or, just because a review's put up on a site somewhere, like on our review of your album doesn't necessarily get to the heart of who Dave is necessarily. Right. But I want to kind of talk to you because, I think it's probably going to seem odd for some people for me to bring this up or for me to just like, hey, it's the first time I'm talking to you in general. But within your music, you reference your struggles with your weight and basically say that that you should change. But you also mentioned that you're also, quote unquote, too far gone. And I know several people, including musicians, who have struggled with their weight, also having health conditions that stem from it, diabetes, all that kind of stuff. So I want to know this story because it's a really cool differentiating factor. You don't hear people talk about this necessarily. Like they try to hide it or, they'll take rerouting it as or kind of getting away from it and kind of shoving it to the side is like, that's how they deal with it. But you actually kind of face it with like a bit of comedy, self-loathing and catharsis to your music. So how do you kind of deal with this in obviously talking about it in your music, but then also just dealing with it on a daily basis as a musician?
I feel like I am a self-deprecating person. That's just how I've always been.
Yeah.
And it's just easier. I mean, I like comedy. I like being funny, even though, some people might not find me funny, but I think I'm funny. So I just write what I deal with. Like a lot of people write about love, like breakups and stuff. And I just write about what I know. And it's like being a bigger guy. It's like I look at myself in the mirror and it's like I see what I am and I know that I should change. No, it's not healthy. Especially like this last year, doctor says diabetes. So it's taken a lot of medicines for that. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's as interesting really as like you'd think. Because it's just, I don't know. I don't find myself as interesting. So
yeah. Well, to me, I mean, when you write a song like Heart Attack and then you reframe it 2 more times on 2 separate albums and two different names or whatever, cardio thrombosis and what I can't remember the other one, but what it was, I can't even remember the
myocardial infarction.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So when you write a song like that, what are you going into thinking it? Is it just like this is what you're like? This is just the thing you were thinking at the time, or
at the time that I wrote it, I think I was just like, I mean, I struggle with anxiety, so it's like my heart will race and flutter, and I get nervous, and so I wrote the song just as is just a joke, and I showed it to the band thinking that they're not gonna like it, but then it's like been a fan favorite ever since. Like I don't quite understand why it's so popular, I guess, but it's just funny. And it's just really about like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like it's just a joke, but serious at the same time, because it's a serious problem. Like diabetes is not a joke, but it's funny.
Do you kind of find it as a way to like deal with the thing, like like some people, when they have like a death in the family, they're so shocked by it, for example, that they laugh at the news, right? So it's like, I don't know what to do, like my body's not ready to accept this news, right? It's kind of like a form of, I wouldn't say denial, but kind of like the first stage of acceptance, right? Is it kind of like something like that, or like a bit of catharsis for you to like just say, look, I've got enough to worry about, let's take this in a different light and kind of let's have some fun with it?
Maybe I mean, I guess that's a good way to look at it. Like, but I write a lot. Like there are like, I just write everything. Not everything is good, but I have a problem with, I just write what I think, and even no matter what, like well,
let's talk about this, because I know that you've even put on social media, obviously having to help, because the healthcare situation in America is absolutely fucked, and everything costs thousands of dollars to like, especially for stuff that you need on an everyday basis that's going to save your life, like an EpiPen or diabetes medication, or anything that basically people have to have. It's like, well, that's $10,000 or whatever, and insurance is just as expensive. So it's pretty insane that people have to go on social media or on GoFundMe to actually help pay their bills. And I remember you mentioning like, look, I don't like to take handouts, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I would rather give somebody something in return for, helping me out. So you actually were saying, hey, well, I'll write a song. So kind of tell me about like your situation there. And I just think it's an interesting approach, because it's you doing something to help somebody else, but at the same time, that's obviously them saying like, look, Dave, we want to help you as well.
Last year I got diagnosed with a tumor on my pituitary gland. It's like a small, teeny tiny tumor, but I had to go get an MRI. So I'm like, I didn't have insurance at the time. And so I had to pay out of pocket, and it was like, I think like $800. So I'm like, I came up with because the pituitary is kind of on the brain. It's technically not a brain tumor. But so I made the stickers, the our ghost, whose name is Tad. I don't know if you know that.
I got the email that says Tad the ghost.
So I thought it'd be funny just to have a brain Tad, and I was like, well, if you want to help, here's a sticker for it. So, but that, and then writing the songs, that's just been so much fun to do. And I really hope more people come to me to write songs for them, because I love doing that. And that's even better, because that makes me feel productive. Like you want to help me, but I'll be productive while doing it. I'll help you.
And I think it's interesting, because a lot of people like to support artists in whatever way they can. Some people, too busy to actually pay attention to what is happening all the time. But when something comes around like, hey, you'll get like essentially a piece of art from an artist directly from them, specifically created for you. I mean, that's a pretty unique situation. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea, because, there's a lot of people that go on like Cameo, and they're like, oh, I'll do a personalized greeting. But not a lot of people are out there creating songs for people, which I thought was pretty cool.
I love doing it. It's fun.
What were some of the song topics that you had to write about, or that you've gotten to write about?
I got to write about bunnies. The first one I did was someone came to me to write a song for their husband, who likes bunnies, and she decided that we could write about. She gave me 3 ideas. I forget the other 2, but the first half of the song is about a ghost, like being unhappy after he's dead because he realizes like, oh no, like I miss being alive, kind of thing. So that was fun. But we also did 2 different styles because I not only like pop punk, I like hardcore and like grindcore and stuff like that. So and I guess this guy does as well. So I got to write a half pop punk song, half like thrashy grindcore song about a ghost and missing being able to pet bunnies. It was awesome.
I think that's a pretty cool side. What would you call it? Like not a side effect, but like a byproduct of having this medical condition, right? It's like, oh, here's the shitty side, but then here's the really cool outcome of what I've been able to kind of put together for it.
What you can do for others when they're doing it for you. Like, yeah.
And I think everything as far as a musician's career goes, it's a 2-way street, right? So you got what you're giving them, but then also the support, investment of time, money, effort. Got a dog back there.
Yeah, he was so quiet, and all of a sudden he started barking.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I'll just wait. It's all good.
His name is Bert.
Bert?
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a Bichon Frise, something like that.
I know what that is. Yeah.
He's a white poofy dog.
Yeah. Cool.
I wrote a bunch of songs about him. He's going to be a topic of maybe next time I'm on a podcast. I'll talk about how I sing about my dog a lot.
I think that's a pretty common. I wouldn't say it's common because not every band fits that genre, but anybody who kind of throws in unique or comedy stuff seems to write about their pets at least once.
Yeah.
Especially pop punk. It's weird. But anyway, so one thing I was going to ask is, I know that there's a lot of, I guess, judgment of people just in general, like, especially if you're on social media or whatever. But do you ever feel like as a musician, people are judging you for not having the stereotypical rock star look, trying to be like, really thin and, spiky hair and like cool leather jacket, that kind of stuff? Or is it just, you're just you, so people kind of accept that?
I kind of like, I don't feel like from anyone that they expect that. I mean, I wish I was more like that, but I mean, I don't, I'm just me. So there's nothing I can do about it as I like get healthier. I mean, I get closer to that, but it's not going to stop me from being me. And I don't think I think it'd be weird if anyone would call like me out on being a big guy, because it's like I'm the first one to call myself out, I guess. I mean, if they listen to the lyrics, they'll realize like, oh, that it's not going to bother him. I can't say anything to him that he isn't already saying to himself. So
So you don't think like at any point like it's ever kind of you missed out on an opportunity of something because of people saying like, oh, they don't look like a rock band or whatever?
No,
well, that's good.
I mean, if we have that, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I mean, we also don't try to do a lot of things. We're very like, we're kind of like a lazy band. I have a lot of great ambition, but not the oomph to like do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I know like back in like the 90s, especially when music videos were like MTV was like how you got kind of broken, how you became famous. But it feels like because music videos, sure, they exist and people still like to watch them, but you have to go on YouTube. Like it's not like in your face. Like you have to go out and search for it. I don't think people are really like judging people on their music video appearance or even their band appearance necessarily, as long as the music's pretty good and you're essentially not making garbage product. Then I think people are pretty accepting, and it's good to hear, because I think, like I was saying, like maybe 20 years ago, this would be a different conversation for bands back then, right? Like especially I know when I was in high school, even just in high school, like you missed out on stuff like just hanging out with friends because that guy doesn't look like us or whatever. And it was just like, what the fuck? Like, this is so messed up. But
yeah,
I'm glad high school doesn't last forever, because that attitude should just definitely, and it's good to see a lot of kids these days don't have that kind of mentality, which is great.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of was a dick in high school. So if anyone ever knew me in high school, I apologize for being a dick. I was, when I first got into punk, like I was like, you know, if you didn't look a certain way, oh, that's not punk, or like the stuff that I love now, like in high school, I'd have been like, no, that's skate punk. I can't listen to that. It's not punk enough.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
It's so dumb.
Punk. Yeah,
it's like, I'm embarrassed of my past self.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I wanted to mention as well is, because you had mentioned, you know, you're ambitious, but you're not that ambitious. You're the lazy kind of band. But you also have a song called "Quitter," which I think is a phenomenal phenomenal track. That you know, if anybody's heard it, it's basically like, all I ever do is quit. All I ever do is quit. And then the video shows you basically quitting different jobs in various situations. Is that something that actually is kind of like how you have gone through life so far? Is that kind of an MO of yours, or is that just kind of a joke?
Maybe in some things, but not really. Like,
yeah,
I guess more so in like the things like I should be getting healthy. Like I'll start something, but then I, you know, eventually peters out. But that's pretty much it. Like, yeah, it's more like that kind of stuff. Not like a job thing. Like I had the same job for, I think, like almost 10 years before I moved out to Texas. And yeah, with that kind of thing, I stay as long as I'm needed, or I'll get fired before I quit. Like I'll want to quit a job, but I'll work until I'm like, nah, we're going to let you go. You're not making the numbers here. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because I didn't want to work here anyways.
The reason why I'm not making numbers is because I hate this place.
Yeah. I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just like a funny idea. Like, I think the line of like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to change. And then even if you do, it's not going to last long. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to turn it right back around. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick break. We'll go, you know, a quick 60-second break or something like that. So stick around. I want to take Dave and put him into the spotlight with some hot seat questions. And I don't think you guys are going to want to miss this. So make sure you stick around right after this quick break. The Powered by Rock podcast will return right after this.
Reverend Guitars embodies the idea that every run of scorching lead and every roll of finger-picked twang deserve the same passion and commitment to quality. Whether you're selling out arenas or playing in your living room, we know that what makes an instrument powerful is when players wield them to create something remarkable. A melody that moves mountains, a riff that just won't quit. We want to be there in your hands when that happens. For us, that means staying true to what we believe. Somewhere along the road of electric guitar history, it became a crazy idea that guitar makers should craft guitars with the same sense of purpose and passion, whether they're played in a bedroom or an arena. If that's a wild idea, then we're in the right place, carrying 6 strings and an attitude, and we're in good company. Reverend Guitars. Well played.
Welcome back to the Powered by Rock podcast. I'm here with Dave Cavallo from Dropped Out to bring him into the spotlight for a few questions, and hopefully he doesn't get too hot. I know it looks like you're kind of in like a baking situation right now. That spotlight's on you right there. So Dave, are you ready to be put in the spotlight?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. So, you had mentioned that previously in the conversation I had with you that some of the songs on your latest release, Get Lost, were a bit more of a surprise than some of the other ones. Like, I think you said that you thought that Nicolo was going to be the hit that you thought it was going to be the best, or like the most well-received song on the album. So I'm curious, you know, what are your favorite songs that you have released, and what is it that you received? Like, what have you received from fans that kind of surprised you about other tracks?
I think from at least from this new record, the most surprising is Quitter. Mm-hmm. I mean, on the record, I think it might be the hardest song, like the fastest. And I don't know. It's just something about it. I thought, people like it, but people have like really liked it.
Yeah.
And it's been great, like crazy. We went to Fest last year, and we had a couple Germans come up to us and like, oh, we know who you are. And then they started singing Quitter. And it's like, Germans from Germany know the lyrics to one of my songs. This is mind blowing.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
Yeah. Personally, though, what were some of maybe like your favorite songs that you've written in the past so far? Or even from the last album?
Two that come to mind. One is from the last record. It's its actual title on the record is Something You Used to Say, but we call it Rewind.
Gotcha.
It's a good when we play it live, it's our set ender, because it's got at the very end a little break that I can like say, oh, thank you for coming, blah 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 blah.
Gotcha.
Do rock star stuff. But I mean, it's just that song to me is very personal to me, just because it's about a friend of mine who committed suicide, and it's just about like I'll never be able to like talk to them again, hear their voice, or like stuff that reminds me of them, being able to like tell them. And I don't know, just the way that I wrote it, it just kind of just came out, and I don't know. It's one of my favorite songs to play, and it's, I don't know, in my brain, one of the best songs I've written. Another favorite of mine.
I think a lot of times people put those kinds of things at the end of sets because it's like, if you, and this isn't necessarily how you would do it, but I know that like some of my more emotional songs that I've ever had that I've written, if I put them too early in a set, I'm like, man, this has bummed me out for the rest of the set now. It kind of takes away the energy from the rest of the set. So sometimes I'll put it like second to last or very last song, depending on if it's kind of like that type of ender song.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that, because what I try to do is take the depressingness of a subject and mask it as something more uplifting and upbeat.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That's one of the things that people always say about, like, there's such a depressing band, but so uplifting as far as like the music goes. And I think that's like perfect, because that's, I guess, what I try to do. Like, I don't want to bum people out, but I mean, I know I do, but I don't try to.
It's like, I'm not trying to, I swear. But no, I mean, I think that's a sign of good craftsmanship, right? Like when you can actually write a personal, deep and meaningful song, but then also make it to where people can listen to it. And even if they don't listen to the lyrics, at least enjoy the music and have fun and still have a good time at the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very cool. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question. Number 2, this is, as a Texas musician, what's the worst thing about the music scene or music industry in Texas?
Ooh,
the best. You can go either way. You can either be positive or negative.
I don't really know negative, except for the fact that playing, I mean, for us, like there's a great scene we have here with a lot of great bands, and it's a place called Kick Butt Coffee, and it's just, it's got a parking lot. The staff is amazing. They're amazing people. The owner's even cool. It's easy to get to. I just playing like downtown areas, and I know this is probably stupid of me to say, like, but I just don't like doing it, because I like having a parking lot. Yeah.
Parking in a parking garage and having to walk back and forth to your car and then go up and down flights and stuff. Yeah. I know.
I feel like I'll probably get
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of cool places to play down there. I just would sometimes rather not. And I'll probably get a lot of shit for saying that, but you know what? Hey, I like parking lots.
Yeah. And there's some cool places like, Rainy Street has some cool places, but obviously, what is it? 13th Street? Is that the main pub place?
6th Street is where like all the bars and stuff are.
Yeah.
And then, but Red River, it has like the venues, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I always like to do because every time I go, I don't see a lot of bands when I go, because I'm usually not going to like for music reasons. I'm going for work or vacation or whatever. But I'll be like, all right, I'll go down to Rainy Street and drink at 5 different places within six minutes of each other and eat 10 different kinds of food, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So yeah, obviously the downtown scene, I think, is what you're kind of admitting is kind of like your least favorite part of the music scene there.
Yeah. I mean, not the scene. I guess it's just
the setup. Maybe.
It's just parking. Yeah, like I wish like there it was easier to like load in, load out, and not feel like there. If it was less stressful, like I'm easily stressed. So yeah, trying to find somewhere to park that isn't far away, that would be nice.
Yeah. All right. So question number 3. I'm not sure if you saw this, but last year there was a study that came out that caused a huge uproar in Texas, where A&W was named the top burger chain in Texas. What would you say to that? And what's your choice? Apparently there's only 13 chains of actual A&Ws in all of Texas as well. So how that is labeled that, I have no idea, but that was by a research company that said that was the top burger chain in Texas.
I mean, not being a native Texas, I mean, I don't have any like affiliation with any specific place that I would die for, but I know a lot of friends who love Whataburger, and that would be their go-to. Which, I mean, I've never had a great Whataburger, so I mean, I'm sorry, Texas.
I think it's pretty good, but I will admit it's kind of like just like it reminds me of a Whopper like 20 years ago when Burger King used to not be as garbage as it is now. So I was like,
I like Burger King still.
Burger King. Yeah, it could be just me, but every time I've gone recently, I'm like, the bread's not as good. Like the actual buns, I'm like, they fall apart. I'm like, the fries just don't taste as good. But yeah, I mean, I remember Burger King in high school, and I was like, I remember eating 6 Whoppers in one sitting, and I was like, that's how much I loved them. So yeah.
I'd say my favorite place would probably be a place called P. Terry's.
Okay.
Because it's like, I don't know if it's like a knockoff of In-N-Out, but I mean, it's basically a knockoff of In-N-Out, but better in my opinion. Like we have In-N-Out here, but I would choose P. Terry's over In-N-Out. Yeah.
Well, I know in Las Vegas and Southern California, people are like, In-N-Out's great. And I'm like, it's basically just a regular ass hamburger. I'm like, I don't get it. Like the fries are just crushed up ruffled chips. Fries. I'm like, the fries are crap. So I don't know why you eat them. But yeah, I've never got the appeal for In-N-Out. Food's fine, but it's not. I would rather eat McDonald's, to be honest with you, than In-N-Out because of the fries.
Yeah.
But all right, so we've got that. Obviously, I couldn't believe it because obviously I've been to Texas a few times, and Whataburger is like, it's like the church of people for burgers there. I'm like,
right.
If you don't go to Whataburger, then you're an idiot.
It's like the only place that's open too. Like after you get out of a show, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, we're drunk. Let's go get Whataburger." Dave, take us to Whataburger. I was like, "All right, I'll take you."
All right, question number 4. This one's a little bit more in depth, I suppose. But let's say in 3 years' time, dropped out of selling out venues pretty consistently, doing really well. What's the one venue you would like to play, and who would be on the lineup with you? You'd be the headliner of this.
Headliner of this.
Unless you don't want to be the headliner. I mean, you could always take the support out for a bigger band, I suppose.
I can't think of any venues that I like, that I'm like dying to play.
You don't want to play Cowboy Stadium?
Well, I mean, when we're thinking about selling out places, I'm thinking of like selling out small, like Chain Reaction in California. That's how big I'm thinking.
I mean, that's pretty well known punk little venue that people love to go to. So it's well known.
I haven't been there in, I don't even know how long, since before I moved out of California.
Yeah.
But I would play there again. Like if I could headline Chain Reaction, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like my old bands played there and we were always opening. So yeah, that'd be cool. As far as bands that I would love to play with, I could think of a handful. Like Wicked Bears. I want to play with Wicked Bears so bad. Like, I love that band.
Yeah.
Odd
People
Robot,
can't see it, but
another
there's
one.
a Wicked Bears album right there up in the corner, right next to yours, kind of.
And then, Odd Robot and Wicked Bears.
Odd Robot.
And maybe New Junk City is really awesome too. I love that band too.
Yeah.
Their record, probably my favorite record from last year.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's a way for those 4 bands to play together, that would be a fucking awesome show, regardless of where it's at. Like, I would love to go to that show. Dropped Out, Wicked Bears, Odd Robot, and New Junk City. I'd watch that every day of the week.
I would open that show and be like so excited right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I agree. I'm spinning my wheels in my head right now, thinking like, how the hell can we make that happen? Because that sounds awesome. All right. Last question in the spotlight, Dave. If there are intelligent life forms out there and they exist in the cosmos outside of Earth, what's the message that you would tell them about us humans?
Oh God, don't come here. And if you do, annihilate us all. No peace, annihilate. Or come with like some sort of like mind control and just, make everything cool.
Yeah. Fix this place or get rid of it. Either way.
Yeah. It's one or the other.
Very cool. All right. So before obviously we go to break, I want to mention, obviously the spotlight's off now. So you survived, Dave. It's great. Hopefully you're not sweating too much. That was, I know that was intense questioning right there, but
hopefully I didn't say anything stupid.
We'll come back from this quick break, but I want to play us into the break by playing the song Quitter from Dropped Out. Dave, do I have your expressed verbal consent to play this song on any platform that comes up?
100% of my consent to play this song.
So there it is, Spotify, YouTube, whatever. If you guys think, oh, we got to take this down, we have consent from the artist who owns the rights. And you guys are going to hear Quitter from Dropped Out right after this. Running your own music career is incredibly difficult. Trying to get people to like, share, comment, listen, follow, it's all just overwhelming. Most musicians give up before they ever achieve success, and that's the worst. If you're looking for a better way to grow your music career, head to DIYrockcareer.com for some absolutely free training. It costs you nothing, and it could be the difference between hitting your goals and quitting your dream. Go to DIYrockcareer.com today by clicking the link below this episode.
Then I lost my way.
All I ever do is quit. 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 When you wake up in the morning, do you wonder why you're alive? After a night of staring at the wall, are you surprised that you survived? It's not that you want to die.
Welcome back to the Powered by Rock podcast. Okay, Dave, you guys are still playing shows. Thanks for being here for so long and spending your day with us. But you guys are still playing shows. And I believe you have some acoustic shows coming up, or you've played some recently. And I noticed that, you know, you kind of throw these into the mix, obviously, because I know that you've had some rotation changes on bass guitar, for example, and you know, just kind of trying to fit as many gigs in as you can and I guess keep the momentum. But can you talk about what's on the horizon, what you have coming up? What things, you know, maybe new music you're working on, and anything else from Dropped Out in the near future?
Yeah, we actually just finished tracking a new record, and we hope that it lives up to the last records. Now we have people have expectations of us to reach, so hopefully.
Well, how do you get better than a 5-star rating, Dave? I don't know.
Do you ever give bonus ratings?
Yeah, we'll do 5.1 per 1 star.
Right. Yeah, we got that. We're gonna try to tour hopefully this summer. We tried to do it last summer, but weren't able to. Maybe this summer. I don't know if we'll go west or go northeast.
Yeah,
but
the
we'll
thing
go
with
somewhere.
going west is that the cities are so far apart. Like, you can't get like a lot of shows in a row. Like, you have to like do them like a day apart, well, like 2 days apart, because like you're really driving for 10 hours in one day.
Yeah, so just getting to El Paso is a day.
Exactly.
But I still want to do it because I've yet to play in Southern California, and I mean, ever since I started this, or I didn't start this band. Ever since this band started, I've always wanted to go west, and it's just not happened. And this year is actually our 10-year anniversary of being a band.
Wow!
And it's just that alone is also mind bending. It's like, I know I'm old, but man, now the band is old.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, I like to play acoustic. I don't do it often because nobody asks me to, and I won't book myself that way, really.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to book me acoustic, hit me up.
Yeah.
Also, I've got my songwriting. If you want a song written for any occasion, also hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, even the band's Facebook, because that's me. I run that. And I just started a Patreon, which I kind of feel weird about, because it's like I don't know how people feel about demos and stuff. So
yeah,
I love demos. Like, the singer of Tiny Stills has a Patreon that I follow, because she posts demos, and her songwriting is amazing. Yeah. Like, her lyrics, great. The music is great. So like I found that out. So that's like, I thought, oh, I know I'm not that cool, but I'm going to try it anyways. You know, I got so many demos, like I'm just going to throw it out there, see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I've got versions, like demo versions of pretty much most of our catalog, and then songs, so many. Like we joke about, because we just finished tracking the new record, which is 9 new songs. I don't want to give anything away.
Are you spoiling a surprise there? Maybe another song coming back for a 4th time?
I can't confirm nor deny if this will happen. But we joke about, because I like when we're picking out what songs to do. I mean, if we took all the ones that I have demoed, we'd have like at least 4 new records ready to go.
Yeah.
But not all of my songs are good, but they're okay. And if you want to hear some okay demos, then yeah, my Patreon.
Yeah. Well, I think it's crazy, because I think a lot of times when musicians throw away, essentially, quote unquote, throw away songs, like sometimes they're actually pretty good, and it gives them gives people who aren't you a unique perspective on what your songwriting and your capabilities are. Because I know I've probably written 30 songs that I've never recorded and put out, and I'm like, I could put them out, but I'm like, I'd have to then put the effort into those songs, and I'm not sure that they're worth the effort at the time. And I'm like, I could easily just self-produce them and put them out, but I'm like, I also do. I want to do that. It's like, I don't know, like who knows how much effort these songs deserve, but in the history of the songs that I've ever written, some of those songs I've played more than songs that I've released. So it's like, it makes no sense that I keep coming back to them. Yet I'm also like, maybe it's not a good enough song.
Yeah. I've been judging lately about like what if a song is good enough by when I show it to Tron, like how excited he gets.
Yeah.
And if because he'll hear like, because I'll do all the instruments when I demo stuff. So basically I have an idea for like, this is what the drums would be. And then Tron takes it and be like, okay, this is what you had. This is how it should be. And like, he just like takes it to the next level. And same thing with like his backup vocals is like amazing.
Yeah.
Like he sings backups on this last record. Sometimes, but this new record, oh, I don't want to get you too excited, but
now you're making
there's lots of great harmonies. We got, because Charlie from Brake Lights is playing bass for us, and he plays the bass on the record, nice. But also he does some backups as well, and it's really cool to have like now 3 people who like can harmonize and stuff. So it's it's fun.
And I'll be honest, that's a pretty fucking talented trio of people right there. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, having him in the band is great, just because him and Tron have such a history together. Like they've been working together since they were kids.
Yeah, and
so they know how to work with each other, and it's just amazing watching. And I get now like it's cool because like I feel like a part of the band, even though like I've always been a part of this band, but I feel like it's a different perspective almost. Like it's cool to watch.
Nice. Well, we'll add some obviously links to all your music in the show notes below this episode, but do you have anything else that you want to plug? Any shout outs you want to give, or anything else you want to say before we go today?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. You'll be the one watching this.
I mean, the only thing I would not shout out, because I don't have any specific people that I can think of that would enjoy that. But to anyone who likes our band, you know, I may look unapproachable and mean sometimes because I'm just an awkward person. Come say hello to me if you ever see me around, because
clearly,
like people.
Obviously, this entire time you've been a complete jerk in this entire episode, and everybody's going to look at you and be like, "This guy's a real bastard." No, like, yeah, I think at this point, if they got this far and they're like, "Oh, maybe he actually isn't a weird, you know, jerk or whatever," I think you're a pretty approachable guy.
Well, hello, new friends.
And you can even see below this, it says Dave Cavallo, or from lovable punk band Dropped Out, joins the show. So. Yay. I figured that was the most apt adjective. I don't know why, but I love you guys' music. Like every single song, I'm like, holy shit, this is a banger. This is awesome. This is a great song. And I'm like, what's the best song? And I'm like, I don't know. They're all freaking great. So, but anyway, one last question before we sign off. What new music, one song, one album, one artist, whatever, from maybe this past year, past 365 days, whatever, would you recommend people go check out?
Go listen to the new Wicked Bears track, Hypothetically. I've had that on repeat like since it came out. Like I'll put it on and I'll listen to it like 12 times. And then I'm like, okay, I need a little break. But then I'll go back to it because it's just, oh man, it's so catchy. It's like the catchiest song I've ever heard. Yep.
And I remember I saw Wicked Bears at Attention Fest last year, which I think was in September, I want to say. And I asked, because I actually was just doing some filming and stuff, and I asked him, like, what is this name of the song? Is it like Hypothetical Love Song? He's like, hypothetically. I'm like, well, that makes sense because that's the first word in the song. But yeah.
Right.
But no, it's a great song because it's essentially a hypothetical love song. It's like, hypothetically, if I were to write a love song, it's like, that's so damn smart. Like, I'm surprised nobody's ever thought about that before. But Casey's a great songwriter. He has a way with words, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So very cool. And yeah, here, I'll give them a quick shout out right there. That's the last record, but their new record's coming out. Actually, it's already come out. Or no, pre-order's already out.
Friday.
Yeah, it comes out like in a couple days. By the time this airs, I think it'll be out though. All right, Dave, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast. Make sure to go to the show notes, guys. Check out all the links to the music and social media for Dropped Out as well. Remember, the Powered by Rock podcast is powered by our listeners. Show us some support. Please be sure to subscribe and share the podcast on social media. You can also make a donation by clicking the link below this episode as well if you want to help us make some more episodes with some awesome guests. If you're only listening to this podcast, you can go check out the full video interview on our YouTube and Spotify channels as well. Also, if you like reading, I know it's a different format for a lot of people these days. It's not a thing that people do that often, but if you do like reading, you can go check out some awesome content or shop our merch and gear by heading to poweredbyrock.com, and you can see what's good there. That's our show for today. Until we see you soon for the next episode, rock on.
Supposed to be